is chair yoga with Donna Sue from the YMCA here in Madison. I invite you to take your shoes off if you'd like. You can leave them on if that's what you need to do. That's okay too. So if you're ready, go ahead and pull the flesh away. Try to create length in your spine. Sit up a little taller. Bring your elbows under your shoulders. Let your hands rest in your lap. Try to draw your chin back so that your ears are over your shoulders. Take a deep breath, and on an exhale, you can let your eyes close softly. Start to look inward and focus on your breath. For the next 45 minutes or so, try to just be here in your body, your space. Check in with your body and notice how you feel. And if anything's talking to you, be sure to honor that or to use that as a cue to maybe improve some alignment. Trying to quiet the body and the mind. Deeper breath, and exhale, bring your hands together in the center of your chest, using the thumbs to lift the breastbone up, the shoulders and the elbows be soft and relaxed. Your next exhale, you can let your head bow down, the weight of your head stretch out the back of your neck, a moment of gratitude. Like to set an intention for class today or the day going forward, you can repeat it silently to yourself. It could be to focus on the small things that make you happy and not worry so much about the things that might not be going right. If you'd like to send your energy out to anybody that can use it, you can keep them in the back of your mind. Inhale, you can let your head lift, and on an exhale, you can let your hands come to rest in your lap, and you can let your eyes open with a soft focus. All right, so always trying to sit up tall. When you sit, try not to let your knees dip in or tuck your feet back. Try to plant your feet more or less under your knees, right? More or less under your knees, not tucked under, so that you can be really well grounded. Right, nice and tall here. So we're going to do a little bit of breath work. My different color chair. I don't know, my clothes now blend in again. Very hard to do that. All right, so nice and tall. So on an inhale, I'm going to lift my arms up, palms faced in, looking up towards the ceiling. Eyes go underneath your eyebrows. And on an exhale, I'm going to bring my arms down, tuck my chin, and I look underneath my cheekbones. Okay, with my breath, inhale up. And exhale down. Try to move with the breath. Every time I lift my arms, I lift my ribcage, but I don't arch my low back. If you can't get your arms really high, that's okay. And the next time I find my arms down, I'll create more length in my spine, roll my shoulders down and back. Turning my palms out. And as I turn my palms out, I'm rolling my shoulder down and back, right? I'm not just turning my palms. It works across the whole body. On an inhale, I sweep my arms up. And on an exhale, I bring my arms down. If I can, I'm going to track my right arm. So I'm going to inhale up and exhale down. Tracking my left arm up. Tracking my right arm down. Keeping my chin drawn back. Trying to pair the movement with the breath. Mindful, being here. Loosening up my neck a little as well. Next time I find my arms up at the top, bring my hands together and bring them to third eye center, sitting up nice and tall. So we have one more. Always trying to sit up really tall. Bring your arms forward. We're going to be tracking our hands. So on an inhale, I'm going to look to my right hand, look over my right shoulder. On an exhale, I'm going to give myself a big hug. Inhale, open up wide. Exhale, give yourself a big hug. So if you can, alternate your top arm. Big, broad, open chest as you inhale. Big stretch between the shoulder blades as you exhale. Next time you track your left hand and you come back through center, and let your arms rest in your lap for a moment. Again, rolling your shoulders down and back and creating a little bit of movement. All right, so we're going to go to our strap. I have switched to white strap because I think it shows up better. This is a work in progress, you guys. We're trying to get the sound better. We're trying to get the lighting better. We're trying to make sure that my equipment doesn't disappear because I have to bring the screen behind me. So it's a whole new territory. All right, so we've got a nice long strap. If you're using a belt and it's really short, I strongly encourage you to find something longer if you can. It's worth the investment because if your strap is too short, there's no way, right, to come behind you. I mean, maybe come behind you anyway, it depends on your shoulders. But a long strap is always a really nice idea if you can get one. So I've got it wide, and I'm working to keep my wrists neutral. So I'm not dipping my wrist in any direction, right? Neutral means, I can't look here to do it because it's not mirrored. Neutral means that I should be able to draw a straight line from my elbow to about my middle thumb, right? I'm not tipping in any direction. And similarly, I'm not tipping it up or down. So kind of being aware of that. Trying to be aware of every little tiny part of your body, right? So I keep some length in my spine. I try to keep my wrist neutral, and my arms are pretty wide, just enough to clear my head. So inhale up and exhale down. Now, if you have the flexibility back behind you without bending your arms, do that, right? If you find you need to bend your arms, then it's okay. We'll split it. So come all the way back to it, and if you can't, don't. So inhale up, exhale back or down. So think about trying to keep your shoulder blades down and back as much as you can. So let your shoulders creep up as you lift your arms up. You're in it. You're in. Yep. I have a little sound elf in with me. He must be fixing my sound. Turn your palms in. Lift your arms up. We're going to move in towards the midline. So on an inhale, I bring my arm up towards the center line. On an exhale, I come up. Inhale. Nice and long. Exhale. Think about breathing into your side ribs if you can do that, right? As I bring my arm up, I lengthen my side body. And the next time you finish on your left side, you can bring your arms down, rest. Now, just in case you couldn't get your arms behind you, we'll split that down. So I'm going to stand, and you can stand if you need to. So we're going to hold the strap behind us with your palms facing into your midline. And as I bring my palms into my midline, I'm rolling my shoulders down and back, right? So I keep my chest nice and broad, and we can be pretty wide here, still trying to keep a neutral wrist, right? Not wrong in here. On an inhale, I lift, and on an exhale, I come down. Don't let your shoulders round. Inhale, lift, broaden your chest. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Now listen, if that's it, it's okay. So listen to your body. If it's a killer on your shoulders, try going a little wider, right? See if that's a little bit better for you. Lift. Exhale down. One more. Inhale, lift. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Lift your ribcage. Try to broaden across that chest. And on an exhale, you can let your arms come down. Have a little sit. Okay. We'll do a little cat-cow, and then we'll do some other movements using the strap. So you can just let the strap drape in your lap. Bring your feet so they're slightly in front of your knees, and try to have your ankles and your feet in line with your knees. So I'm not here, I'm not here, I'll go back here. Nice and long. On an inhale, I'm going to swing my body forward, looking up towards the ceiling, trying to broaden across my chest. I squeeze my shoulder blades together. On an exhale, I'm going to scoop my belly, tuck my chin, and if I don't have osteoporosis, I will round down. Your pelvis should be moving with you, right? So my whole weight shifts forward, concave back. My whole weight shifts back, concave stomach. Shoulder blades move as well. As I come forward, I squeeze my shoulder blades back and down. As I rock back, my shoulder blades separate. Just trying to loosen everything up. Try to really pay attention to your back. Try to articulate each part of your back in turn. Notice if there are areas that don't particularly move. Good. And then the next time you come up through center, wherever that is, nice and tall, try to get yourself stacked over your sits bones. Your weight shouldn't be really far forward. You really want to be stacked right on the tips of your sits bones. And so if you're sitting, you have a chair that's flat in both directions, because if you're in a chair that tips back, there's a tendency to rock back. If you're in a chair that tips forward, there's a tendency to kind of arch your back forward. So I really like an absolutely flat chair if you can get it. Harder to come by than you think. All right, a little bit more with the strap. So we're going to do some lateral tips. So I'm going to have my arms up, and I'm going to have my legs apart, and that's going to help me keep from falling off the chair. So I've made a little tripod here so I'm nice and stable. My arms are up, whatever that means for me. For you, I'm going to bring my right arm up, create as much length as I can in the right side body, and I'm going to keep weight on my right sits bone as I tip to the left, breathing into my right side body. So don't let go of the strap if you don't have to. So I'm really trying to open up through that side body there. And the weight of my arm, right, can help create a little more length in that right side body. Abs are pulled in, we're nice and long here. Inhale up. Come into the other side, get all the length you can. Let this arm hang down. It helps to pull the bicep in and to tip to your right, creating all the length you can in the left side body. Keep weight on the left side of your sits bones. Think about breathing into the left side of your ribs. Go ahead and come on out of that. Let your arms come down. Bring your legs together. If you can, squeeze your legs together as tightly as you can. Try not to collapse in on your ankles or turn your toes out. So try to have everything together as much as you can. And then we're going to hold the strap shoulder width apart if you can. If you can't bring your arms up over your head, my arms are up, my shoulders are down. I'm creating as much length as I can from my sits bones to the knuckles, nice and tall here. Squeezing my legs together. On an exhale, I'm going to turn to my right. My head stays just centered right in this space, and I'm breathing. Can you get taller? Can you squeeze your legs together a little bit more? Can you lift your arms a little bit more? Can you think about drawing your left low belly into your right low ribs? It's okay if that cue doesn't mean anything. Right, so we're trying to use the muscles in our stomach to try to increase that rotation. Good, go ahead and come on out of that. Let your arms rest for a minute. Roll your shoulders down and back, so always come back to this. Don't grip the strap any more tightly than you need to. So if you have arthritis in your hands, you do a light wrap where you really don't have to grip particularly, if that's what you like. So inhale the arms up, the shoulders are down, right? So it's just enough to give me something to work against. Squeeze my legs together, and on an exhale, I'm going to rotate to my left. Did you tip? Don't tip. Try to stay stacked over your sits bones. Can you get taller? Get more length from your sits bones to the tips of your fingers. Can you turn a little more enthusiastically? Can you get your arms up higher? And again, try to use your stomach muscles. So bring your right low belly into your left low ribs. Good. Go ahead and come on out of that. Okay. You just put the strap aside. So we're going to do some hamstring stretches with our foot on the floor. So if you're not far enough forward on your chair, you're not going to get any stretch out of this. I'm going to turn the chair so you can see me. Right. Perched on the front edge of my chair. So here's the edge of my butt, right? And the chair tips down on mine. But I'm right on the edge of where the chair would actually hit me so that I can get my leg absolutely straight. Not like this, right? That's not straight, so you've got to come forward on the chair. This leg will keep you going. You'll be okay. So lift your leg up, flex your foot as much as you can, put your heel down, and look at your foot. Your toes should line up with your knees, right? I haven't turned my foot out. My kneecaps and my toes are up. I create all the length I can. Draw my chin back. Don't extend by doing this, right? Did that actually change anything here? No. Don't extend by reaching, because all that does is round your back. I want you to think about hinging from your hips and keeping your chest lifted. You should feel like you're getting a pretty good stretch in the back of your hamstring, in the back of your calf, but your shoulders are down and back, and the back of your neck is long. Breathing here. So if you don't have shoes on, you can try spreading your toes out nice and wide. Good. Point your toe as much as you can, and it's okay if you can't bring it all the way to the floor, but really try to point that toe, and we're trying to lift the arch up as well. Create length here. Now that we've taken away some of the tension in your calf, you might be able to come a little bit farther. I'm creating all the length I can, still from my sits bone to my shoulder, so I'm not rounding. This does not increase your stretch. Reaching with your arm, it doesn't, because you're probably rounding your back. The only way to increase the stretch is to hinge from the hips. So nice and long here. Good. Go ahead and come on up. So the foot that's planted on the ground, which I'm going to assume is your left leg, you're going to pull that back a little bit, and you're going to bring the right leg over, and I'm going to face you for this one. Right? So I'm still forward on my chair. I'm pulling my left foot back, and I'm going to bring my right leg over, and my hips are still pointing forward. So sometimes we do this with a strap where our leg is up, and I know some people really have trouble with that. The intention is to bring that foot over my midline. So here's my midline, right? You see it's over my midline, so that I get a little bit more stretch in the back, the outside of that leg. Creating length in my spine, rolling my shoulders down and back, and hinging forward. So now you should start to get that on the outside. I don't want you to twist or reach or round. Please don't round. Flexion with rotation is really terrible. I mean, they're both terrible independently if you have osteoporosis. If you take Pilates, saw is not nice for people with osteoporosis. So I really stress neutral spine as much as you can through as many things as you can, because most people don't keep the neutral spine anyway. So you should feel this on the outside of that leg a bit. Good. Go ahead and come on out of that. All right, other side. So my heel's on the floor. I'm far enough forward on the chair that I'm not going to fall off. I can bring this leg forward. It's going to help me stabilize. Lift the foot up and spread the toes wide, and then hinge forward. So if I'm looking up towards a screen, if you have it on your TV, you're collapsing the back of your neck. Right? Draw your chin back, tuck your chin, and try to extend. So once you see what the posture is, just try to find that neutral spine. We spend so much time in these postures all the time anyway. We want to try and work on neutral, right? So nice and long here. I tend to arch my back, so that's the thing that I'm always working on. All right, so we're going to point our toe as much as we can, right? You can see I'm trying to lift that arch up, right? So I'm not trying to flatten out the foot. I'm trying to lift that arch up, extending and lengthening. And you should feel that in the top of the foot and into the shin. Don't reach for your foot. Don't stick your face forward. Keep your chin drawn back. Think about hinging from here. You're trying to close this space down. Breathe, 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 breathe. Good. Go ahead and come on out of that. I'm just going to face you again. We have it so it's auto-focusing, which definitely is going to work better for me. So now it's my right leg. I'm going to pull that back a little bit so I have somewhere to bring my leg over. So I'm going to bring my leg over my midline. I haven't turned my torso at all, right? You can just come in line and that's okay. You can't do it, it's okay, right? So we're trying to get that stretch in the outside of the leg, and again, I'm going to hinge forward, and you should start to feel that a little bit on the outside of that leg, right? Because we've crossed over our midline. Sometimes we do it with a strap, and you're tipped back, and you bring the leg over, and I really like that one, but I thought I'd take it a little easy on your hands today. I am resting on my opposite leg. Never rest on the leg that's straight. It's not good for your knee. All right, fantastic. We're going to do quad stretch. So you're going to turn sideways in your chair, and this is one of the ones where I need a block only because, well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm short. Oh my gosh, look at this chair. Oh, well, hello. I'm going to tip it up even farther. All right, so it's a challenge to be tiny. You want to be sideways on your chair. And so I've turned to the right, and my left cheek is off the ground, and I want to keep those hips pretty level. And we'll see how this works. Maybe 2 blocks this time. You really want your foot planted. I don't know. I'm going to try it like this. And short people problems, you guys. I really want to keep that foot planted, right? So some of us are tiny. If you come forward, it's easier to reach, but then you're only perched on the chair. So I really would like you on the chair. That's why I like a flat chair. So we're going to have our foot flat on the floor. We're going to create length in our low back. I'm going to scooch back farther so you can see my back, right? We're going to create length in our low back. That doesn't mean I arched my back, right? Keep my foot on the floor, and I'm going to start to slide my foot back. And if I can, I'm going to bring my knee so it's right under my shoulder. So because I'm on a really high chair, my knee isn't bent as deeply as it would be if I were on a shorter chair. And so if you're in the group of people, and there are plenty who can't bring their knee underneath, get something to sit on. Get a pillow when we do these. Prop yourself up a little bit, and you'll have more success. Try not to let your foot rotate out. It's not good for your knee. You want to have everything in line. So there should be a straight line from your shoulder to your knee, and from your knee to your ankle. I'm squeezing my glutes. I'm keeping length in my low back. I'm going to sweep my left arm up nice and long, and I'm going to see if I can tip slightly to the right so I get more length in the left side body. Think about keeping that knee tucked down. Good. Go ahead and come on out of that. So you should feel like you got a stretch in your soleus. Now, if you can, I want you to flatten out the top of your foot. Right? So we're working on some pointing and some flexing. So for some of you, you're desperately going to want to curl your toes under. You really want to try to get that flexibility in the ankle if you can do it. Don't fall off the chair. So I'm going to have you rotate towards the back of the chair. So you should be rotating to your right. I'm nice and tall here. I'm using my left arm to pull and my right arm to push. I'm as tall as I can be. You should feel like you're getting a stretch in the front of your shin, top of your foot, into your abdominals and your hip flexors. Abdominals. All right, come on out of that. Taking everything with me to the other side. My giant chair. All right, it's off. It may not look like it's off, but it is, right? Otherwise, I won't be able to drop my leg down. If I don't come far enough over, the chair is going to cut into my inner thigh, and that's not really nice either. So my left ankle is directly under my left knee. I'm creating length in my low back. Foot is on the floor. I'm going to slide it back, right? So I don't want to be here. I want to really try and push through that heel. And hopefully I can get my knee under my shoulder. My tailbone is down. Creating length in that front body. I should have a straight line from my shoulder to my knee, both from the front and the side. If I can, I'm going to lift my right arm up, keeping that knee pointed down to the floor, and I'm going to tip to my left, keeping length in that side body. Try to push through the heel. Go ahead and come on out of that. Try not to change too much here. Try to just rest on the top of that foot. And if you need to bring it farther forward, you can, but really we want to be in a nice straight line. My tailbone is down. I'm nice and long here. I'm going to rotate towards the back of my chair. So I am pushing with my left hand and pulling with my right hand. You guys, I have to try and reverse everything. It's brain work for me. Try to draw the belly up and in. And again, you should feel this stretch into your quads, your hip flexors, top of your foot, maybe up into your back. Good. Go ahead and come on out of that. Let's see how we're doing on time here. Okay, about 25 after. All right, we're going to stand. And we won't need that. We won't need that. Put those over there. All right. So I'm going to turn sideways. You can face wherever feels good to you. If you want to face me, that's fine. I'm going to get right up by my chair, and I'm going to hopefully have my feet so they're pointing forward, not out to the sides. And we're going to do a really nice stretch. We'll see what you say. For your hamstring. So take a good size step back with your left leg, and make sure you're not turning it, right? We want to keep that heel pointed back. So check it out. Drop that heel down, and then we're going to start to hinge forward. And I am hinging from my hips, right? Nice and long, chest is lifted. So you should start to get a stretch in the back of your front leg. That out of the way, let's tie this up. It's the chilly room, right? So you should feel like you're getting a stretch in the back of that leg. Try not to round here. When I round here, my pelvis tips to the back, which means I'm not going to get as good a stretch in the back of my hamstring. So try to keep it nice and long. If you can, shift your weight back and pull those toes up so you get a better stretch in the hamstring and the calf. And I'm using the chair for some stability here. Good. Bring that foot down. Try to come upright. If you're not feeling stable here, pull the chair closer to you. Squeeze your back cheek, push your hip forward. So I'm really bringing my pelvis into neutral. I'm trying to keep that heel pointed back, so notice whether it turns, because you won't get as good a stretch there. Nice and long here. So if you have your left leg back, you're going to lift your left arm up, lifting the rib cage, squeezing that back cheek. If your balance is good, you can lift up your right arm as well. Breathing. Go ahead and come on out of that. So we're going to try and come into a rotation here. So I'm going to turn towards my forward leg. So I'm going to try and turn towards my forward leg as much as I can, keeping that back leg straight. This is a balance challenge as well. If you can, you're going to open up your right arm, looking out over your right fingertips. And if you can, you'll open up your left arm as well. If that's too hard, don't do it. That is a challenge. Go ahead and come on out of that. Back up to the front of the chair. We'll do everything we just did with the other side. So I'm going to take a step back with my right leg. Think about it. Right leg. Check out your feet. Make sure that you haven't turned your foot out. Both toes are pointed forward. I'm going to hinge at the hips so that I get a good stretch in the back of my front leg. Right back here. Keep that leg straight. The more flexible you are, the farther forward you might have to hinge. If you take a bigger step, right, that's going to increase it as well. So multiple ways to increase the intensity here. So right now you should feel like you're getting a pretty good stretch back of that front leg. Shift your weight slightly backwards and see if you can lift the front of the foot up, spreading those toes wide. So I'm always working to keep my spine long here. I'm not like this. I'm still getting used to using a mic. I keep hitting it. I'm doing the best I can, you guys. Nice and tall. So if you struggle here, pull the chair closer to you. Right? And you want to think about squeezing that back cheek to draw the belly up and in, right? You see how my whole hip moves like that? my leg is still straight. I'm getting the stretch in the front of my back leg, which I think is your right leg. It's definitely pushed into my face. Oh, that's going to mess up the sound, you guys. Sorry. And I'm going to lift up my right arm. Nice and long here. If my balance is good and I'm happy here, I can lift up my left arm as well. Make good decisions for you guys, for yourselves. So, all right, go ahead and bring your arms down. So we're going to turn into the forward leg. So if you can, you're going to rotate to your left. I have to think about it. That's nice. That's a challenge for me. And I'm going to open up my left arm, looking at my left thumb. And if I can, I'm going to open up my right arm nice and wide here as well, touching the screen. Is that making everything ripple? Good. Go ahead and come on out of that. Let's see. All right. So I have a challenge today for you if you would like to do it. We're going to try and come into a revolved, knee up position. And we can use our chair to do this for stability if you would like. So I'm going to do it this way. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. I want to be facing you, and there's no mirror, so it's you're only there. You aren't here and there anymore. All right, so if you're able to lift your foot up onto the chair, you'll do that. If that's a hell no for you, you can just be here, okay? With the chair here, it's fine to be on the tip of the toe, and then we'll see if we can come into our, it's so Bob Fosse. See if we can come into our rotation. But if you can, you're going to bring your, I'm going to keep reversing, your left leg up onto the chair. I don't want to let my hip drop down, and I don't want my leg way in front of me, and I don't want my knee way in front of me. You should be in a position where you can, lift that foot up off of the chair, or not. Okay, so you're either here or you're here, either one, right? Nice and tall. So I'm going to take my left hand on the outside of my right knee. I'm going to get nice and tall here, so my weight is too far forward when I'm in this position. I've got to get my weight so that I'm over my foot, right? So that there's some possibility of lifting that foot up. If I'm here, that's going to be really hard to balance, right? So lift the hip up. I've got my left hand on the outside of my right thigh. I can have my fingers on the chair. I can be here if I need to. If I can, I'm going to lift my foot up off of the chair, right? Completely off. If I can, I'm going to come into a rotation here. If you don't, it's okay. A little bit of a balance challenge today. So otherwise, you're here. Super. Come out of that. I'm going to come to the other side of my chair. Right? So that way I'm turning towards you. So if I can, I'm going to lift my left foot onto the chair, right? So this isn't it. My weight is too far forward. You've got to get yourself over your foot, right? So if you're really digging into your toes, you should know that your weight's too far forward, right? You should be able to lift your foot up. Nice and tall, keep that hip lifted. I can keep my left hand on the chair the whole time if I want. My right hand is on the outside of my left thigh. I'm going to try and lift my heel up and or my foot up, right? So you just see I had to shift my weight back a little bit. If I can, I'm going to let go. If I can, I'm going to come into a rotation. The chair is there for me. Or here. All right. Good job. Come on out of that. I like to put some, challenges in there for you sometimes. Get myself centered. There. Now it's centered. All right, so I'm standing in front of the chair, and I'm going to come into chair pose. So if you stand with your feet hip width apart, you're going to be steadier than if you have your legs together. Most of you don't tend to bring legs together. I know my feet are so attractive. The intention is to bend at the hips and the knees and keep your chest lifted. Right? The intention is to push your hips back, bend your knees, and keep your chest lifted without fully sitting on the chair. So wherever you are, your arms are up, your shoulders are down. Keep some weight on the heels of your feet. Start to push your butt back as you bend your knees and start to sink down. If this is how far you get, it's fine. If you can get lower, get lower. So this chair is really high for me, so I'm going to move forward. If you can sink down farther, do it. Try to keep your chest lifted. Try not to sit here. Notice what you're doing with your knees. Your knees should line up with your toes, but not come past your toes so they didn't dip in and I haven't pushed my knees forward. Good, and then you can bring your arms down and come into a full sit. I need a pedestal and I need a spinning chair on my pedestal. Somebody else can manage for me. All right, so if you can, you're going to cross your right leg over your left and you're going to pull your toes so they line up with your knee. So not up here, right? It should be in line. A lot of people need to push their foot down so you're more in line. Encourage that thigh down, encourage the spine long, pull your chin back, and if you want, you can hinge forward. So stretch into your piriformis, probably in your hip, maybe inner thigh, maybe into your calf. If you don't have shoes on, you can pull those toes back so you get a better stretch in the bottom of your foot. So I'm not pulling my foot up here, right? I'm trying to pull my foot in line with my shin. I've got all 6 of my toes. I'm just trying to see if you're listening. So it should feel like you're getting a stretch in the bottom of that foot. Good, and then point your foot, right? And again, I don't want to point it up here and curl my toes. I want to point my foot so I have a nice long line, right? It's in line, right? Pushing it down, not up. And then if you can, you'll pull back and get a better stretch on the church side. So you can see that, right? So it's in a nice line. I haven't pulled my foot up, and I'm trying to pull those toes back. If you can't reach your feet, it's okay. But flexibility in your feet, your toes, and your ankle dramatically make a difference in how well you balance and how well you walk. All right, so we're going to do the same thing on the other side. If you can, you'll cross your ankle over your thigh, not on the foot, on the ankle, please. Pull the toes back. Try to get them to line up with your knees. Try to get more, not your knees, your knees. And if you can, hinge forward. Remember, this did not increase the stretch. Pull your chin back. If you were in an actual class with me and I saw you do that, I would be making chicken sounds. So we're trying to get a stretch in the back of the calf. If you can reach your toes, pull them back. Get a good stretch. Also, stretches like this can help avoid plantar fasciitis. And then we're going to point that toe, and we're still trying to keep that neutral ankle. And I'm going to pull those toes back as much as I can so get a really good stretch here. So we've done that a couple of times now. Once when we pointed our foot, once when we were in our quad stretch, and now a third time. I don't know if it's getting any easier, but there it is. All right, come on out of that. Widening up your legs. We'll come into a happy baby. So remember, if you're in an actual on-the-ground yoga class, your ears, your shoulders, your hips are naturally aligned because you're lying on your back. And then you bring your thighs on either side of you. So when you come into this posture, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do this. I want you to think about hinging from your hips with the intention of dropping your torso between your thighs. It's okay if you don't get there. So bring your elbows back, draw your chin back, widen up your legs, have your legs a little in front of you, not tucked too far back, right? Because as you shift your weight forward, it'll help you. And then you can start to hinge forward. Creating as much length as you can from your ears to your sits bones, rolling your shoulders down and back. And you can put some variations in this by swinging your body slightly to the left, pulling your right hip back, getting a little stretch there. It's supposed to feel good, you guys, so try to send your tailbone down while you keep your chest lifted. And if you decided to swing your body, you can come in the other direction, swinging to the right, pulling your left hip back. I think I'm breathing into my mic again. Good, go ahead and come on out of that. Press yourself up nice and tall. That's definitely one of my all-time favorite stretches. So, all right, bring your hands back. roll your shoulders down and back. Pull your chin back. Pull your chin back. I'm trying to create as much length as I can in both the front and the back of my neck, right? So not this, not this. Your eyes should be, level in the center of your eye sockets with your chin drawn back, ears over shoulders. Bring your hands back so that your elbows are under your shoulders. Roll your shoulders down and back. Lift and spread your toes. Take a deep breath in. And on an exhale, start to soften. So check in with your body. And again, notice if anything's talking to you. Try to find a long spine. Try to find ease in this posture. If you need to sit back in your chair, it's okay. And if you decided to sit back in your chair, make sure you're sitting all the way back in the chair. Notice the breath. Feel the breath in your nose. Start to relax and soften all the skin around your nose, relaxing your cheeks, relaxing your mouth, relaxing your jaw. Try to soften and relax the eyes, including the gaze. Let your forehead smooth and lift. Feel the breath in your throat, and notice if you can find a little bit more length in both the front and the back of your neck. Let the shoulders relax down. Bring the shoulder blades back and down. Notice the breath in your chest. Try to allow your chest to expand to the front, the back, and the sides. See if you can breathe into the sides of your arms. Let your arms relax all the way down to the wrists, the palms, and the fingers. Try to find length in the spine from the tailbone all the way to the top of the head. And then check in with your belly and your low back. Try to breathe into your belly. You shouldn't have to force it. As you inhale, your belly should just expand and your diaphragm moves down. You should soften and relax as you exhale. Relax the low back, the buttocks. Let the legs be completely relaxed all the way down to the ankles, the arches of the feet, the tips of the toes. Taking a little bit deeper breath. For an exhale, bring your hands together in the center of the chest, using your thumbs to lift the breastbone up. For an exhale, you can let your head bow down, letting the weight of your head stretch out the back of your neck. Taking a moment of gratitude, your body for what it's done for you today and what it will continue to do for you. Being thankful for your health, your safety, your security. Focusing on something positive, something that gives you a sense of peace, love, or joy. If you had set an intention, notice whether or not you've honored it. If you had sent your energy out to anyone, you can recall them. And then bringing your fingertips to your forehead for clear thoughts, fingertips to your lips for kind words, and bringing your hands back to your heart center for kind and loving words. I wish you peace and love. Namaste. Let your eyes open with soft. All right, you guys, I hope you feel like you got something out of class, and I will see you